I got a package here from Singularity Computers. You guys know how much I love those guys. I just wish they weren't all the way in Australia. Anyways, it's a case. So we're gonna look at it today. And to be honest, it is packed and I don't even, EK Waterblock's quantum torque fittings for PC liquid cooling include static extenders, rotary adapters, offsets, double rotary fittings, and micro series for all small form factor systems. With a wide variety of fittings, your loop building experience becomes much easier, quicker, and more streamlined. And all torque fittings come in 4 major finish options that will blend in with any setup. The standard nickel-plated versions, the special matte black, satin titanium, and fittings plated with real gold. With replaceable locking rings available in multiple colors and aesthetic color rings only available from EK, the customization options are almost endless. To see the full lineup of EK Waterblock torque fittings, follow the link in the description below. So this is the Singularity Computers Stream S mini-itx case. If you guys, the last time, what did I look at last time? The Spectre 3, right? Yeah, so here's kind of how that turned out, and then I ended up not using it because 12th gen ended up being old by the time I got done with it. Singularity Computers, if you guys are not aware, this is not an ad. I didn't even know this was coming. I think it's because they know, send it to Jay, he'll review anything. It's like the whole Mikey commercial back then. Mikey, he'll eat anything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey. Anyway, what I started to say is, I love the guys at Singularity Computers because Daniel started the company as like anyone else, just an enthusiast building systems for people using off-the-shelf parts, and then over time he started developing his own stuff. And now all those distro plates that you've seen me use, and the Spectre case, and the ARGB splitters, and fan controllers, and so many things are made in-house by them now. But I don't know what's in these boxes. So let's just, did I say boxes? Yeah, clearly this is a box, Jay. And this is scissors. But knowing the guys at Singularity, because there's more than just Daniel now, I have to assume this is probably going to be some sort of a distribution block slash motherboard wall like the Spectre, but ITX size. Oh, hey, it is fully assembled. Nice. Ooh, I have to wonder if this is something Phil would like. Because Phil's our resident ITX guy. And it's about the right size to be a Phil computer. Ooh, it's gold. Dad, we heard you like gold. But yeah, it does have a built-in distro plate and wall and stuff in here. That is very shiny.
The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it.
Wow, that is very, very shiny. I have to assume that they're gonna have different colors and stuff available, especially since this is just acrylic. My only concerns about this being all acrylic, like the shiny acrylic, is it's gonna scratch over time. You wipe it down and stuff, so I'm a little concerned with that. But I wanna see what else is in here. It's my understanding these are some accessories for it. I didn't get any sort of like reviewer guide or manual or anything, so, okay, these are clearly some block off plates of some sort. There's only 2 of each color. That's what I find kind of interesting here is matte, it's polished. I see now, they replaced these 2 guys. So you could contrast up the colors if you wanted. These are gold, I could replace them with chrome or white or black or whatever. I just realized we got fill and drain ports on the front, on the outside of the case where they're accessible. That's what happens when you have somebody that loves water cooling, designing cases. Anyway, what is this? These I believe are gonna be accent color pieces. Smoked one, mirrored one? Where do those go? Ah, they go right here. So I have to assume in here is gonna also be different color panels. So we got the gold ones installed, but I assume we can change these colors now. This is gonna be fun. Ooh, now I'm excited. Okay, so here's the black, right? That's black, it goes like that. I'm definitely gonna be changing the colors on this. I am not a fan of gold, but for the sake of the video, it definitely stands out there. Here's like the polished black, I think. Yeah, polished black right there. Here's the white one. Ooh, Stormtrooper would be kind of neat. Oh, you know what I don't see though? I don't see replacement top pieces. Okay, I wonder if they just forgot because these should absolutely be replaced with whatever color we choose. Whatever, let's get inside of it. So these are absolutely glass. Whether they're tempered, I'm not entirely sure, but that's thick. That is thick glass. I'm curious to get inside this guy right here because one of the things that the email did say that this case features is Because this package arrived and then I was like, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
And they were like, oh, that's our Stream S case. So I didn't even know this was coming. But apparently it features flexible PCBs instead of cables that connect directly to the power supply. Well, that's a cable, but that's also just a 12 volt high power. Oh, check it out. They're doing the looping back to the 12 volt or the ground rather than having actual sense wire run the length. So that way, I guess you don't have to have any sense wire issues with those breaking off because they are kind of delicate. Here's some ARGB and fan headers right there. Okay, so here is, is this an EPS power? It looks like it is. So here's a flexible ribbon cable EPS power. So it just kind of gives you that sort of a mechanically look. Oh, I don't really care that it's like glossy on one side. I wish it were matte like on both sides. Whatever. Here's some spare screws and stuff for the panels. Here's the 24 pin. So here's the 24 pin flexible. This is the tiniest, cutest little power board I have ever seen. I love power boards just because you get one place that everything gets plugged into, right? So PCI Express, 24 pin, 12 volt high power, ARGB in, all these ARGB outs. Is that PCI Express, I guess. Fan outs. And then this is just a simple place for everything to connect. I love power boards. All right, so as you can see, we have a riser cable that's mounted directly to the bottom here. It's very solid and secure. Here's our flexible riser cable. Place to actually mount the GPU down right here. We also have some tie downs right here. This cable right here attaches to the front power button, but this is actually a capacitive touch button. So this right here is just a touch rather than a clicky on off. It's just capacitive, which is kind of nice. You can see the front right here is just a reservoir pump combo. Not really a distro plate other than the fact that it's just a flat pump res combo right here. We have a DDC style pump that's going in there. It does look like it's only DDC. I don't see an adapter for like a D5. And then on the top right here, we've got our RGB cables for the front plate. So that's got an RGB strip behind it. So in terms of radiator support, looks like we've got room for a 240 up top, and that's about it. No 280. No 360, just a single 240. So this would allow us to mount another 240 intake, 240 exhaust. All right, so once you take off the decorative cover right there, then you have access to these screws, which allows, this is just the lock, I think. Okay, yeah, see it does slide up and down like that. So the way this actually works is these are direct connectors right here that an Asus ROG Loki 750 watt or 1000 watt power supply click direct. This clicks directly to the power supply. There's no cables go into it at all. So the power supply mounts down here, right behind the riser cable, underneath this little bridge right here. So this is where the power supply goes. And then the reason why I think it has these three adjustable slots right here is depending on the 750 or the 1000 watt, where you need that to go. And then you have just a little bit of room adjustment to go a little bit wider if you need to for some reason. And then this gets locked down on the top right there. And then that's rigid solid with the power supply. So you take this cover off, power supply exhaust, and it is SFX power supply, by the way. I don't have this power supply, which really stinks because I would like to be able to test this, but it's a $600 ITX case now that is shoehorned into using a very specific power supply. I guess that's just a choice that Daniel had to make because you can't, unless you have a power board for every SFX variant power supply. I think it would have been nice if you at least had a couple of different variants or maybe a little bit more common. Like, I don't know how many people are using an Asus ROG Loki. I think you would find a lot more people using Corsair or something like that. Yeah, Silverstone, a lot of the more known brands in terms of power supply. Like, when I think power supply, I don't think Asus first. I really don't. But anyway, this cover comes off, the power supply is mounted there, and then this cover goes back on and you kind of turn it and the cable will be coming out right there. So it's just always pigtailing now off your system. There's no plugging that cable back in and out. So we were like, how much is this gonna end up costing you? If it's $600 for the case, and you have to buy that power supply. The 750 watt is $184. The 1000 watt is $402. The 850 watt, that's why there's three adjustables. The 750 and 850 and 1000. I bet you they're slightly longer for each as the watt goes up. $314. You're looking at anywhere from like $800 to $1,000 just between case and power supply alone. I'm not giving Daniel a hard time about the price of the graphics or the power supply. It's just unfortunate the power supply they went with is one that is expensive. And that's the thing is like, I don't know if I would trust. I started wondering like, who's the OEM or the ODM for that power supply? Is it Silverstone? Is it Superflower? Yeah, I don't know. So it's like, I was hoping maybe one of the SFXLs that I have lined up with these fittings, or not these fittings, but these ports, but they don't. So I can't mount that up to show you. I can tell you theoretically, which means I can't even do a build in this right now if I wanted to, because I still need the different top pieces, which didn't come with the case, and I think that was an oversight, and that's unfortunate. And then I still need the power supply to be able to mount this guy, which I think is a really neat idea though, to have it directly mounted to the power supply like that. So a couple neat things to think about when it comes to this being purely water cooling is the fact that this toggle switch right here, this is actually a jumper start. So what this allows you to do is be able to turn your pump on and off to bleed and fill the system without having to try and unplug the 24 pin or any of that. So you can just toggle this switch to turn the pump on and on, or on and off, without turning on the rest of the system. So that's nice. Also, this is definitely intended for water-cooled cards only. And the reason for that is the fact that you can see this is a 2.5 slot gap right here to where the glass would go. Pretty much all 40 series cards now are 3.5 slots. So that means if your 40 series card fit with the cooler on it, your fans are gonna be right against the glass. Not to mention lengthwise. Like many 40 series cards won't fit in this lengthwise with their air coolers, but pretty much every single like 3090, 3090 Ti, 4080 and up water blocks make the card a lot shorter and a lot thinner. So this is obviously intended for a vertical oriented water-cooled graphics card. So keep that in mind. Like although an air-cooled card might look really neat right here, there is no airflow getting to the fans with the glass panel right there. But other than that, I don't know what else there is really to talk about. I think I called these plastic initially. They feel like aluminum. They're absolutely aluminum, I'm pretty sure. Because it's all plastic, with the exception of those end pieces, you definitely want to be careful with it because dropping it or hitting it on a corner, you could scratch or crack the acrylic, which would be really unfortunate. It's almost like a matte black kind of a deal, right? It doesn't even look bad with the matte black and a little bit of gold in there. I think the less gold we have in there, the better it looks overall. Black and gold go together really well. I guess if you're like a Saints fan, right? I guess I would. Football, I don't know, sports ball.
Sports ball.
Go team. Yeah, I can see why this is $600 because they do not get manufacturing discounts like companies putting in orders of 100,000 cases or whatever it might be. So this is a very low volume part, which is going to also equal very low discounts in manufacturing. Well, there you go. I wish I could show you more. Like I wanted to mount some stuff up into there, but I'm now realizing that I can't. Don't necessarily want to buy that power supply just for putting stuff in here for the sake of doing it. But it could be a fun build. I'm kind of surprised, honestly, that they didn't somehow, feet are really getting stuck there. They didn't somehow integrate a distro plate into the back, to be honest. I'm kind of surprised, but whatever. This one in the front definitely takes a lot of the work out of. The hardest part about fitting a water cooling loop into an SFX case is usually where you're gonna put the reservoir and the pump. Well, that's built into the case, so clearly that's not gonna be any sort of an issue. And then this right here, I forgot to mention, this is your drive mount. So you actually, if you have 2.5-inch drives, you mount them vertically, like right here. And they're vertical like that, so they're out of the way of any fans and rads that are right there. But I know most people, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people these days use almost exclusively NVMEs now. So this is becoming less of an issue. Anyway, from Singularity Computers, and it's neat. It's definitely not for the faint of heart in terms of cost, but I can tell you that a lot of R&D has gone into the design on this. They do not cut corners when it comes to the quality and the design and craftsmanship of their product. And with that, it's reflected in the price, but at least the price reflects the quality. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll put a link to Singularity Computers down below. I didn't really know this was coming, but it came. And now I don't know what to do with it. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.